was diagnosed with early stage breast cancer in 2008 based on a routine mammogram. I hadn't had a mammogram for a couple of years, and a friend of mine had been diagnosed the day before. I wanted to thank the radiologist who told my friend about her cancer. So the radiologist came in after my mammo, and she said, well, let's just look at yours while you're here. And she put my mammogram up on the screen, and it was obvious that there was cancer. And what was equally obvious was that it had been present on a mammogram 2.5 years prior and was missed. I called my husband up. I said, I have cancer. I'm going to die. And he's like, you don't know that yet. But the biopsy proved that I had cancer. The hardest thing was telling my daughter, who was not quite 9. I went into her room one night, putting her to bed like usual. And I said, Mommy needs to tell you something. Mommy has breast cancer. And she looked at me and she said, are they going to cut your breasts off? And I went, yes, I'm going to have a mastectomy. I've chosen to do that. But I'm going to have surgery, so I'll look pretty normal. And she was okay with that. And then she said, are you going to die? And I said, well, yeah, I'm going to die at some point. The dog's going to die. The cat's going to die. We're all going to die. But I'm not going to die from breast cancer because I'm going to kick its ass. And that little 9-year-old thought about it for a second. And then she turned to me and she said, Mommy, you owe me a quarter because you said the A word. And I had my bilateral mastectomy, and I had reconstruction, and I had a positive lymph node, which meant I had 16 weeks of intravenous chemotherapy. And then I had my final reconstruction, and I thought I was done. And I went on my merry little way for the next 5 years. And every October I said, yay, another year has passed. And I hit that 5-year mark, and I thought I was done. Well, just a month or two before I hit that 5-year mark, I was walking up the stairs in my office, and as I was taking a step, I sneezed and immediately had searing back pain. And I thought, okay, I'm over 50 now. I pulled a muscle, and I got massages, and I saw my chiropractor, and it didn't get better. And then I started thinking, okay, you're in your 50s. You probably herniated a disc. And everything got worse, and I started limping, and the pain got worse until I ran into a friend who happened to be an oncologist who said, you're limping and you've had breast cancer, you need scans. That was the first time it crossed my mind that maybe my breast cancer was back. So a couple months after the symptoms first appeared, I had an MRI and a PET scan. And in between the tests, they must have called the oncologist, who left a message on my cell phone. So when I finished all the tests and I went out to my car so I could go get something to eat finally, and I turned my cell phone on, there was a message from the oncologist. Kelly, call me. I immediately knew that I had metastatic cancer. Called my husband up again, told him that really this time I was going to die and that maybe he should divorce me because he didn't want to have to deal with a dying wife. And my daughter was 15 at that point. So I was diagnosed, ironically enough, on my birthday, because I had a busy career, and if I was going to take time off to have scans done, I might as well take my birthday off and then go get a pedicure. Well, I never got a pedicure that day. I went to the oncologist's office. My husband met me there. We found out the extent of the disease. We formulated a plan, and that was a Thursday. My daughter was 15, sophomore in high school, busy with a play. Exams were coming up. So we decided to wait until the weekend to tell her. So Saturday rolls around, and my husband and I call our daughter upstairs, and she walks up the stairs, and without us saying a word, she said, Mom, your cancer's back. It's stage 4. There's no cure. And there's nothing harder than hearing that from your kid. But what my daughter said to me was, Mom, we've gotten through this before. We'll get through this again together. And that was 41 months ago. The median life expectancy after a diagnosis of metastatic breast cancer is 33 months. So I'm above average. I've kind of been above average my whole life, and I figured I'm not going to start being average with a metastatic cancer diagnosis. And I'm so grateful that I am here 41 months later, and I hope to be here a lot longer. When I got diagnosed, my daughter was a sophomore in high school. And I looked at that median and went, that'll just about get me to her high school graduation. Now my daughter is finishing her freshman year in college. And so my goal now is to be here for her college graduation.